MotoGP heads from Australia to Malaysia. It's round 19 and what could be a crucial round in terms of the World Championship. Bagnaia versus Quartararo. The green light is on and we are underway for the first practice session live here on YouTube. Good morning everybody and welcome back to Spain. We have dubbed this one the Decider. Just 2 points separate Bagnaia, just 23 points separate Bagnaia and Quartararo. 2 points would do it for the one and only Bagnaia, who has come from 96 points down to an advantage of 23. Nobody knows what is going to happen here this weekend. It is literally written in the stars. But as we've seen here in the past, anything is possible. Accidents can happen. Literally falling at the last corner we've seen before. Jorge Lorenzo's done it. Andrea Dovizioso's done it. Even the great Valentino Rossi did it back in 2006, leading to Nicky Hayden becoming world champion. Anything is possible. Green light is on for the first part of practice. We're just getting all the information up and running as well with our usual TweetDeck runs as well so that you can see everything that's happening back at home as well. I wonder why it's actually looking like that though in terms of the fact of the TweetDeck situation up there actually as well, so not looking too good at the moment, but lap times are coming on the board. We've got everyone out there at the moment who's running is on soft front and medium tyres. We can show you that now with the battle camera. So it's soft front, medium rear tyre runs for the majority out there. There's Marc Marquez just circulating. You're hearing him now out on the track. Marc Marquez will trial the new 2024 biofuels on the Tuesday post-season test. We are still umming and ahhing what we're doing with that, whether we're broadcasting it all or not, if we can get people on to talk about it. But it's looking very interesting right now to see what everyone's going to do. Hey, I got biochesty and I'm not prepared, says Synthel. Don't worry at all, Synth. You're going to absolutely ace it. Just have confidence and you will have an easy time of it, trust me. So, honestly, I would not panic about that one bit as we come through. Just getting everything set then. We've got to get the live timings up as well. Marquez coming around the back half of the track as well. So we've got loads to talk about this weekend. We're live for every single session this weekend like we was back at Silverstone. And Marquez crosses the line, goes fastest, a 134.210. Franco Morbidelli is second at the moment. He's done a 135.503. Marquez almost dropping at the exit of turn one. That's how much he's pushing out there as well. Maximum commitment, maximum attack. And I would actually watch out for Marc Marquez this weekend. It's the last time. He's got nothing to prove whatsoever. He's going to be on full mental attack the entire time, and I think he's going to be very much a dark horse in the championship running as well. And one accident as well for Bagnaia changes quite a lot of things as well, so watch out for that. Bagnaia completes his first time of the weekend, a 134.537. Fabio Quartararo is just behind him as well. Just coming out of the last corner now. Boots it hard. 0.555 up at the moment. Slick rear and front. Soft front, medium rear. Quartararo goes top then. 133.459 on the board. So time's getting good. This weather's taking a while actually to get into position. It seems it doesn't want to seem to work today. Does the weather. Graphic up here, up in the comms box as well, but delighted to say that we think we've got it behaving itself now as well, with 40 minutes to go of the session. Just getting the different camera angles so I can sit down for a change. Let's hand over to BT Sports. We've got a replay at turn one.
You know, there's been a few little small errors of judgment, not huge mistakes, and he may rue those decisions, but how he's rode that motorcycle throughout the season has been phenomenal. He's just performed miracles. He dug deep. He's found more than anyone else could do on a Yamaha. The only one who's come close this season is Cal Crutchlow. So it's been, yeah, such a strong performance from Fabio.
Yeah, I wonder if his teammate can have a part to play. Look better, Frankie Morbidelli, we saw last time. Race winner here as well in the past. So I just wonder what Frankie we're going to get this weekend. I'm not sure what role he can play because...
Lap time cancelled for rider 23 due to exceeding track limits. That's just come up on the screen. Oh dear. Let's wipe that camera so it's looking a bit more HD, shall we? Just getting up close and personal with you there as well. Fabio Quartararo then, he is 3/10 out coming out the last corner as well. Marc Marquez has gone back to the top there, 1:32.370 is the time to beat. Quartararo demolishes it by 0.5 of a second. It's a 1:31.866 on the board then for Fabio Quartararo in the first practice session for the Valencia GP. Moving back down in towards turn number 1, keeping it steady as well. And just keeping through, running through the order. Marc Marquez goes back top. This is what we mean. It's going to be a give and take weekend as Marquez jumps back up then with a 1:31.805, and that is one of the With You Yamahas being pushed back in. It is Darren Binder who has been pushed back. It's not Cal Crutchlow, his teammate, so a little bit of a worry there as to what exactly is going on with the team. That is required a bit of a worry as they skirt back through. As you can see, track temperature, that's at 36 degrees Celsius. Air temperature is actually quite cool out there for Spain, 20 degrees. Bright sunshine, 37% humidity. So this is actually some of the best conditions we've ever seen in Valencia as well. No rain predicted for the majority of the weekend. So blue skies, clear track. Spain in November is an interesting place to be as Bagnaia enters the enters the first corner. Lap time cancelled now for Fabio Quartararo due to exceeding track limits. That's going to be something as well. Touching the green at exits of turn 1 could become a big factor. So we've got to keep an eye on that across the weekend. Qualifying is going to be extremely exciting as well. Megan will be joining us for that one as well. Hopefully we'll have some guests on in a couple of other practice sessions, but if not, flying solo, which I don't mind about at all. As they fly back through. Just looking who's on a quicker lap time at the moment. Bagnaia's first sector was 4/10 down, so he's on a cool lap after pushing. Only P9 though. Marc Marquez, 1:31.805, still the top. Fabio Quartararo second. Franco Morbidelli moves up from 13th to 9th now on the timing screens. As Bagnaia comes out of turn 11. And Morbidelli then, as we said, jumps up P9 on the board. As usual, about a big delay on the timing screens to the TV pictures this morning. Usually it's a bit less than that. And you can assume they're having a connection problem trackside in Valencia. Practice 2, that's coming up your way at 1 o'clock British time as well. That's GMT. 2 o'clock in Central Europe as well. As they fly through. Into the last corner then for Bagnaia. Boots it hard with that Ducati grunt at the last corner. And 16th at the moment. Pepe Bagnaia dropped on this lap. Only manages to improve to 14th. The 1:32.621. A reminder if you are new to MotoGP practice, because we've only covered them live at Silverstone this year. This is a special event because it's the final. Is that someone down? No, it's not. It's Fabio Quartararo with a 1:31.689 goes top. And Marquez is up by 0.2 of a second now. So Marquez is even finding some time out there. A reminder if you're new to MotoGP and want to know what the running order is for practice. Free practice 1, 2 and 3 are all timed, as you know, but they are combined together. And at the end of those 3 sessions, no matter if it's dry, wet, whatever, the top 10 automatically qualify for qualifying number 2. The bottom half of the field, for 14 riders, then have to go and qualify in qualifying number 1. At the end of that session, the top 2 progress to qualifying 2, and that's then a top 12 shootout. The other 12 riders then will fill positions 13 to 24 on the grid. So it is like a Formula 1 system with a little twist that practice actually means something. So you've actually got to go out there and do a fast time in practice to try and book yourself an early slot in Q2 and not having to go through Q1, and crucially using up a set of tyres that you might have wanted for the race as well. Quartararo coming through turn 9 now. Is this at the exit? Why he calls the track limits? No, he's just looking behind him on the curb as well and shaking his hand a little bit. He wasn't too happy with what happened coming out of T9. I don't know if it was the amount of power he had. Oh no, it's his hand. Of course, he's got that broken finger on it as well. Is that already affecting him? Not even 10 minutes into the session, and after Quartararo's big accident in Malaysia where he's actually broken his middle finger on his left hand, he was just crunching there as well coming through turn 9. So wonder if there's a little bit of pain there already. The last track you want on the calendar to be riding with any sort of injury is Valencia. It is a brutal circuit. It is literally no holes bar racing, and it hurts. It hurts here. It really, really does. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one in the coming days as well. With Saturday practice 3 and then the free practice 4. Yes, just to remind you, free practice 4 is a half-hour session that the riders, it doesn't count towards the qualifying running orders, and practice 4 is literally just half an hour where the teams can finalise their race setup and everything, can get ready for qualifying. Then we've got a warm-up session as well on Sunday morning. That's 20 minutes as well, which nobody understands why we have so much practice time. It is changing for next year, where Friday practice 1 and 2 is the only one that counts for the running order for qualifying. Then on Saturday morning we have free practice 3. So on Friday it's practice 1, practice 2. Saturday it's free practice 3. Then we're straight into qualifying after that as well. Then it's in the afternoon the sprint races as well, which will only take around about 10-15 minutes. So it's a bit ridiculous actually, but that then will set the grid as well, with Sunday qualifying set the grid for the sprint race and Sunday's race. I still think we've got a warm-up session next year, but I think it's only reduced now to a total of 10 minutes, the same length as Moto 2 and Moto 3 is. So, and Quartararo on the switch back to turn 4, because you're going turns 1, 2 and 3 here, you're left for so long, and then turn 4 is the first right-hander for about 6 corners, and sometimes the tyres just about buckle away from you, but he just about saved it as well, so I have a swig of lemonade. Good exit then. Out of the corner from Quartararo. We're hearing Sylvain Quintoli in my ears at the moment, because the onboard cameras don't pick up the audio quite as well over this feed we have up in the comms box. Marc Marquez, fastest 10 after 15 minutes, a 1:31.434. Jack Miller is P2, Fabio Quartararo 3rd, Johan Zarco 4th, Franco Morbidelli 5th, Miguel Oliveira is 6th at the moment, as Miller comes across the line now, 2,000ths off the time of Marquez, and goes a 10th down at the end. He lost 0.106 in that last sector, but Fabio Quartararo, who is 0.147 behind Marquez, is closing in actually. And looking at it, look at Johan Zarco, P4, very close behind Fabio Quartararo, 0.045, so that's even better. Out there as well as they come back through. And that is Bagnaia back into the pit lane now. Walking back. Winner in Malaysia. Winner so many times this season as well. You've just got to wonder, is he the world champion in waiting? Or are we going to see something else fly through in the finale here to change the complexion of the championship? Certainly would be a surprise if that happened. As the field continue to round through. What's happened here with our control deck? It's the page again being a bit of a pain. Hello, look. If you wondered how we were doing this camera, it's literally quick time on the MacBook webcam. It means I get to sit down for a while. Quartararo then squeezing back through as well. Hopefully Sinthel's biology test is going to go well. We wish you luck. Hope you let us know in practice 2 how it went, if you're around in practice 2 though. Just watching on now, Quartararo still P2. Poor sector time so far. Let's take a look actually in the back. Sector 1 is a 20.544. Sector 2, 45.9. It just disappears as he goes second fastest now with a 1:31.541. So 0.107 away. And he goes 1,000th of a second off of Jack Miller. Look at that time. 1,000th of a second separate Quartararo and Miller. That's something out there as well in the championship run. This is bad from Bagnaia then. This is bad for Bagnaia. 17th at the moment as things stand. It would be enough for the championship because Quartararo needs to win the race and no points scored for Bagnaia on Sunday. So it's quite simple to work out the championship protagonists as well. 23 points separate Bagnaia and Quartararo. It would take Bagnaia crashing out and Quartararo winning the race in order to be the world champion. But it's happened before. That exact situation has happened before here at Valencia. So anything is possible. There's the computer graphics glitch. It's early in the morning for the computer as well, actually. So anything can happen in the next half hour as they come back through. Quartararo jumping over the curbs there in the middle part of the track into turn 9 and 10 and 11. And there, Bastianini, winner in Qatar and several other races this year. He's had his lap time struck on lap 3, actually, for track limits. That's what's just flashed up on my screen with a line through it, so not good there. Marc Marquez is firing the bike back up. He's going to head back out then. Top of the section so far is Marc. And with that 1:31.434. New winglets on the side of that Honda actually as well, looking mighty good. As they power through. I want to have Simon Patterson up for a second actually to see if he's found anything out interesting from the pit lane that we can throw back to you with as well. Flashing back through. And why have I just remembered the cricket? That I was going to help Tom with the cricket. I'm so sorry, Tom. I've literally just remembered that. It's been a very bad past couple of days. I'm so sorry, my friend. Completely, I had to help a friend of mine last night, so completely went out of my mind. I'm so sorry. Morbidelli coming back through with Zarco. Oh, and Morbidelli losing his footing coming out the last corner, actually, and running straight into the pit lane. Nearly dropped it on the deck, actually. His right leg coming over. So, bit one of a close one as the riders come back through. Zarco goes fourth, 1:32.144, 7/10 off the pace, so he doesn't actually improve on lap time. He stays in fourth position. And interesting enough, Simon Patterson, who is the MotoGP journalist as well, down in the pit lane, has just tweeted about 34 minutes ago saying that the Moto3 minimum age has moved from 16 to 17 this year and will go to 18 next year. So surely the maximum age should be increased from 28 to 30 in line with that. It should be. It should be, because if we're blocking younger riders in Moto3, then what's the point of Moto3? Why have an 18 age limit in Moto3 when there's an 18 age limit in MotoGP? It doesn't make sense. Moto3 is for younger riders, so in my opinion, it should stay with 16 to 25 at least. But that's a bit weird. Bit weird. Quartararo comes into the pit lane then, and let's have a quick word then with BT Sport.
He's gone out there second quickest. You can see just a little grimace as he came back in.
Yeah, when you've got an injury like that, when it's a little bit cold as well, you tend to feel it a bit more. Sepang is so hot and so humid. The leathers get, really supple, and everything is very, just very moist all around. And when you come back here, new gloves, struggling a bit, with his hand, with his injury. See if we can get a look at his finger. Yeah, see, it just hurts, with the cold as well. That type of injury is just not a nice one to have. He knows he's got to have surgery after that race. See if we can get a glimpse of his finger. Yeah, struggling a bit. So, that could play a part in the race as well. Can you see the pressure in Pecco's face and eyes there?
However much he tried to hide it yesterday, when he was speaking, doing a lot of media. There was a moment they had them both out on the front straight, the pair of them together and eyeballing each other. Fabio gave him a little wink. They get on. You know, there's no fierce, nasty rivalry between the pair of them. But you could just see it was almost Pecco was just having to go through the motions. Almost, I know I've got to say all the right things, but you know, in the back of his mind, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up.
Yeah, and the more you focus on not messing up, the likelihood actually increases. So in some ways, it is better to just go and focus on doing the best job you can throughout the weekend, but it's always going to be in the back of your mind, especially for him. He's won championships, but never the pinnacle. So it's such a weight with Ducati, the expectation of everyone in Italy. Ducati having not won since Casey Stoner, so yeah, and the fact that he's one hand on it, so it's yeah, it's tough. Even though everyone's saying it's a done deal, he's going to be feeling the pressure.
Indeed they are, as Marc Marquez is back out onto the circuit. Now, if you're trackside, by the way, in Valencia, there's a fantastic new app called MotoGP Circuit app. Now, I'm just about to download it myself after being texted by it, so I want to see what it's like, and we'll do sort of a live review as well. To see what it is. Here is MotoGP Circuit. So I believe it's just going to be the same as the app, really, but we'll see. We'll get it, and I'll do a live report for you if you're at the track as well, because it's got live timing, race schedules, all sorts of that, so we'll keep an eye on it. But Marc Marquez then flying out now into the last two corners. 120 at the moment. He's a 10th down already, 10th and a half now in that third sector, so he's not going to do all that well to improve on the 131.434. And the 10th to Quartararo, who's in the pit lane still. And Marc does a 131.702. That would have actually put him fourth fastest as well, if that was the time. So Marc's still pushing as hard as he possibly can, which is the great news. Right, we've opened up. We've got the MotoGP Circuit app, and I'm opening it up now as well, as you can see. So we'll keep an eye on. Oh, he's down! Marc Marquez is down! Marc Marquez has crashed out here in first practice. And the front's dipped away. It's in sector 1. I presume it's in turn 3. It looks like turn 3. It is turn... Oh, it's turn 2. So Marc's gone down at turn 2. And presume... That's what I mean. It's such a tricky circuit to turn in. The bike just slips away from you. So Marc Marquez out of the session then. He should be able to get back and get on bike number 2. Let's see how it happens. Turns in. Rides the curbs in the exit of turn 1. Straightens the bike up, turns in, second part of the corner, front dips away from him, and away he goes into the gravel as well. Nasty accident there. Looking like he's okay. Let's see what the guys think about BT.
Front end slides, but it's still right here, so yeah, you're not getting that one back.
So many times we've seen this at turn 2 over the years, and this is one of those that Bagnaia will be concerned about. I was out there with Neil Hodgson yesterday. Skid marks galore on the outside of that circuit, but also it's a corner where people make lunges because there aren't too many big opportunities to overtake here. People do try and do that kind of move, don't they? Bagnaia will be nervous about that on the opening lap.
Oh, for sure. This is one of the few passing places on the track. The thing is, on this track, compared to Sepang, where we just come from, you get a very different feedback from the tires, very different feedback from the front tire, especially, where here the track is not so abrasive, it's not warm, obviously, compared to Sepang, where in Sepang everything feels quite soft. You can feel a lot, there's a lot of feedback, you know, from the tire. You can feel it moving, you can feel the carcass of the tire and the rubber moving before it goes, so it kind of like gives you more warming. When you get to a track like here, it just feels less abrasive, much cooler, so when it goes, and as we've seen with Marc, there was absolutely no way that he could have got that back. So it's easy to make a mistake, and Pecco will be aware of that.
Just looking behind him, Luca Marini's had an excellent season this year, I feel. 13 in the championship, but actually had his first ever no score. First time he didn't bring the bike across the line last time out. When we're in Malaysia, as Marquez just trying to ride his bike back out onto the circuit. But behind him, Fabio Di Gianantonio. Just a quick word. Did you see his rather cryptic social media posts last week where he sort of...
Struggling?
Yeah.
I mean, he's struggling, and he said he's not really enjoying it. And I mean, at that level, you don't enjoy it if you don't do well. And at the moment, he's, as we're going to see the crash again, early folding with wild trap braking. just went so fast there. Yeah, absolutely no chance of saving that. Saying that, though, the reflexes that Marc has every time, you know, when he crashes or when something happens, you can tell there he knows what's going to happen already before he gets in the gravel and gets in a position where he's not going to roll or he's going to stand up straight away. Yeah, it's always special to see him riding, even when he crashes.
Yeah, did John Antonio at the end of his post put something along the lines of next year a change is coming or something like that? And it was a bit one of those, I don't know, he's not calling it quits or something. Well, it was one of those.
Changing crew chief, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, excuse me, Frankie Carcetti will be stepping in, and it's obviously, it's never easy. MotoGP's tough, but especially when everyone's performing on a Ducati around him. We've seen flashes of Fabio's speed this year, but as Sylvain said, it's so hard to enjoy the sport whenever the results aren't there. When you look at the 24-strong grid we've got here in MotoGP...
Darren Binder's crashed. Darren Binder has crashed in this session as well, so yet another yellow flag in the first sector. I wonder if it's at the same part of the track. Just trying to have a look. I think it is turn 2 as well. Yes, it is. Oh, it's turn 1. Gravel tracks all look the same here. Exactly the same as Marc Marquez. Front buckled away and drifted out wide as well. Yellow flag's back in there. Back to BT quickly.
Come straight in here, learn to make heavier bike, more horsepower, learning these tyres. I think he's had a really good rookie season, and it is a bit of a shame he's gone back to Moto 2, but yeah, I think he's acquitted himself well on arguably the least competitive bike on the grid. He's on the older generation Yamaha as well, so I think he's had a good season.
Yeah, he has had an excellent year as Marc Marquez brings his bike back into the pits with his first crash under his belt for the weekend. Meanwhile, Fabio Quartararo heading back out onto the racetrack. Yeah, just quickly to go back onto Gian Antonio. Obviously, he's seen what Bezecchi's been doing. He's also a rookie on that bike this year. And you have to compare yourself to all the other 7 Ducatis that are, you know, generally getting top 5 finishes here and there. And he's probably frustrated inside a little bit. So I hope for his sake, because I rate Fabio and Gian Antonio.
That's a great rider. I mean, he showed us in Mugello this year, pole position. I mean, this was a great lap, and he shows glimpse of his talent, but it is so hard, like Michael said, you know, so hard that it's tight, and it's very easy to, you know, to lose your way as well and lose a little bit of motivation. And you're here, you know, as a MotoGP rider, the enjoyment that you get out of it is when you do well. So when you're struggling, you're not happy. You're on the track, you're not happy, you're struggling, you can't find your way, you keep getting beaten by your teammates, and it becomes very hard to be in there. You know, you don't look at people in the eyes, and it's almost like a snowball effect as well. So obviously Fabio with that, it was a bit of a cry for help, maybe a little bit on social media, and a little bit of a difficult moments for him. He's got to regroup. He's going to get a really good crew chief for next year. Frankie Carcetti, that is currently the crew chief for Joan Mir, will be at his sides, and that's really important as well. You know, to give him a little bit of help, you know, to express himself and enjoy himself on that bike. So we hope, you know, we're going to see a bit more of him. But it is not easy, and it's cutthroat, and it's brutal. And if you don't do well, it's very hard, you know, to keep motivated.
But as you said, I think, Sylvain, the margins are so small, and this is why Pecco Bagnaia, who's perhaps not straight on it like you might expect, 11th fastest, but only 0.6 off, and you're another 10th off, and you're another 5 places back, and someone has to be in the 20th positions, don't they? You've got a field of 24 here. You're going to have 22 next year. Someone's got to be down there, and you can be down there and not far off. You know, we've said Darren Binder, as you mentioned, more often than not, towards the back end of the field. And yet, he's not far off. Frankie Morbidelli, you know...
This is a great conversation. I'm just leaving it for a second.
He's a small margin off, but he's out on the point.
Yeah, I think for Fabio, he can take some comfort in looking at Luca Marini's rookie season and then how it's progressed from there. He's slowly worked into it, and now one of the strongest riders in the class, so he's figured out how to ride the MotoGP bike, how to extract the maximum from the tyres. And Fabio, to be fair, when he performed in Moto2 was really strong, but not as consistent as some of his rivals like Bastianini when he stepped up. So perhaps he's still developing as a rider, and yeah, I think he will definitely make the progress, and he's definitely got all the attributes, but it's just so tough for him at the moment, looking at his fellow countrymen on the same machinery getting better results. It's not an easy time.
We had a lap time cancelled for Fabio Quartararo due to exceeding the track limits as well. Bagnaia then 1.628 seconds off. That was a great conversation for BT. I just wanted to leave it for a while, to be fair, to get it through. But it is so important. How many times in the past, and especially this season, have we seen Pepe Bagnaia crash out from the lead of the race as well at a crucial time? It's happened before at Valencia as well, where World Championship contenders have crashed out. It happened with Valentino Rossi, of course, most famously, just a couple of years ago, 2017. As well, Andrea Dovizioso crashing out, and then Lorenzo crashing out at the same point, giving Marc Marquez the championship as well. If you are not on pole position here in Valencia, you're going to struggle in the Grand Prix, and if you've just got to keep it as smooth as possible throughout the entire 25-lap race. So this is going to be a lot of fun. As Quartararo, this could be his best time yet, though. 0.036 off by the time he's in the middle sector. If he can pick that time up, though, as the shoulder cam we've got on board with him right now is making everybody sick and dizzy. So they've swapped to the rider cam in the dashboard view. Booting it hard, and Quartararo has improved that gap. He's gone from 0.039 down to 0.034 up. Quartararo is improving massively as he comes into the last corner before into turn 14 and accelerating hard, keeping on the acceleration, that Yamaha. Can he beat Marc Marquez with the 1:31.434? Quartararo crosses the line and does go top. Well, the title fight is well and truly on then. A 1:31.399. He goes top by 0.035 of a second, so 35 thousandths of a second. What can Bagnaia do on a relatively okay lap? He's 13th at the moment and stays 13th. And he's down on his own time as we have a lap time cancel for the 23 for exceeding track limits. That's Enea Bastianini's in P10 at the moment. Well, let's take another look at this with a replay of the decider. In the pit lane, it's Pepe Bagnaia talking to his engineer, Fabio Quartararo talking with his in the Yamaha garage. There's such a worry around with them. There really is. You can feel it. It's like that. It's like that song as well by Phil Collins. I can feel it in the air tonight. Saturday night, well, after qualifying, it's going to be palpable. It's going to, I can't wait. The tension in the air on race day. Yes, Bagnaia has a 23-point gap. Yes, Quartararo must win the race to stand any chance of winning the title. And Bagnaia can't score any points. But we've seen Bagnaia crash before. We've seen Quartararo crash before. And Quartararo's had a really bad run of races as well. Only scored twice in the last 5 races. It's what has put Bagnaia from 96 points down to 23 ahead in the last 5 races. It's madness. Bagnaia's come back after the summer break, regrouped, and gone for it. But he did crash out in Japan and throw away crucial points. This championship could have been wrapped up last weekend in Malaysia. And Quartararo made a bad mistake in Malaysia as well. It's all beginning to have writing on the wall here. I'm not trying to hype up the decider, but any championship that goes down to the last day is dramatic. It is exciting because anything can happen in MotoGP, and it's that unpredictable. Fastest middle sector time. Rider cancel the 43 for exceeding track limits as well. So that is Jack Miller in 3rd position. And I don't know if anyone has noticed, but the colouring on the names here are all mixed up. Jack Miller's got orange for KTM, but it should be red. Bashi's got red, but that should be blue. They're all a bit messed up there. Unless they've already been changed over for next year's test, which happens on Tuesday. Yeah, currently undecided what we're doing with that, by the way, if we are covering the MotoGP post-season test. It's just a single day on Tuesday, so it's possible if we get some guests on to do a bit of testing and a bit of commentary for that. So we are going to wait and see. I'm sure Megan will walk in for some, and we can wrap up the season as well. That'll be in our 2023 MotoGP folder. It's going to be different next year, our coverage. at the moment. We're doing qualifying live next year and the sprint race live, and then the main Grand Prix race live. And then I think with practice, we're going to have highlight shows in the evening. So practice 1 and 2, we'll have a Friday night review show with them as well. Practice 3, we'll have after the sprint race, so we'll hear that highlights after. Because it's practice 3 straight to qualifying. There's no time to edit it in between. So I think that'll get aired later. And then the warm-up session as well, I think we'll include that in the morning somehow. If there is still the warm-up. Might just do warm-up live to film. Put it in the pre-show. That way we've broadcasted it all. So, less than 10 minutes to go then in the first practice session here at MotoGP. Fabio Quartararo, 8/100ths off the pace at the moment. But he is top on a 1:31.399. Marc Marquez is second fastest, so there's plenty of time to be found as the running order continues to push hard. Only 8/800ths down now. This is great. Cross the line then for Quartararo. 0.182 off. Would have put in 4th fastest as well. So time is being found exactly where it needs to be here in Valencia. And here is how Bagnaia can be champion. Bagnaia is champion if he doesn't lose 24 points to Quartararo. Well, that's simple. You may as well literally just say what I've been saying all weekend, and that Bagnaia, for Quartararo to be champion, he must win the race, and Bagnaia not score any points. It's as simple as that. But on the race on Sunday, we will have a live graphic for you as well of the Riders' Championship. We'll have that opened up as well so that you know exactly what is happening and exactly where you need to be, exactly what you need to know and what you don't need to know. So don't worry there, we'll have you covered as they come back through for the final time in the first session. Let's as Quartararo's 5,000's up in this session for a few minutes. Let's cross back over to BT.
They could, as a last resort, they
all
could do
suddenly
that.
have a technical issue. Is there a GG button? A GG button. Boom!
Mapping
Power down.
12 or whatever.
Mapping 12 is suddenly the pit limiter is on.
GG with a red button in the
that's what he has. I think they had it installed after everything that was going on. Do you know what? I found it so entertaining in that Malaysia race, seeing the nerves amongst the top brass there at Ducati. I did find it's entertaining in that you can just see the stress. This is years' work. This is 15 years since they've won a title.
Fair play to them, though, for letting them race. I really like that, and I think that's great. Because
but there are people who think that they were team orders still.
Absolutely not. No, they wasn't. You can tell from all the discussions as well we've had live, with Davide Tardozzi, with Paolo Ciabatti. You can tell there was no team orders. The only team orders, basically recommendation was whatever you do not make Pecco crash, and that's it. But there was no team. They could do it. They could go and see Bastianini, and he's not on big money. You could tell him, look, mate, this race you got the pace, please let Pecco in front. Don't make it obvious, let him in front. We'll give you your 3rd championship bonus, whatever. We'll give you the victory bonus, or we'll pay you. And they could have done that. They clearly didn't. They didn't do that. And 100% they didn't do that. And that's great. I think that's commendable. That's great. And the result of that is that we got a fantastic race.
And they are so. It's the amount of times I've heard Paolo Ciabatti or Davide Tardozzi mention Argentina 2016. And it's just stuck in their heads, isn't it?
I still have nightmares.
It makes me laugh still because they feel like that was another chance gone early on in the championship back there, and it's still right there front and centre. But at heart, Ducati Corsi is racing, and they've got principles as well. They don't want to be the ones that make this feel, and I'm going to use a word and I don't mean it in disparaging terms, but Formula One, and I mean by that, team orders have been very evident there over recent years, and it's openly talked about that sort of thing exists, and it feels to me like Ducati don't want to go down that road.
No, and with the like the comparison is interesting, Gav. I think.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be
F1
disparaging about it.
No. We just the thing is with motorbikes, if there was to have team order, they would have to be very much set and discussed before the race, because we can't talk to the riders. F1 they can just say whatever, thing is behind you and he's faster, or they can have some kind of codes. The only contact the riders in MotoGP have with the crews during the race is the pit board, and it's hard. You can't put a message there, you can't say something, you can't write something too long. So there's only a few brief messages you can put on the pit board, and the rider might not see them. He might miss it for one lap or whatever. So let's say it's much more difficult to implement. And if you're going to do it, it needs a proper briefing before. It needs to be all set. All the different situations need to be imagined. It's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. And this is one of the reasons why, as well, it's not happened. We've not seen it. They've except for the recommendation of not to hamper Pecco and not make him crash. That's it. It's the only word that all Ducati riders have been told.
Thanks, guys, and always nice to be having a bit of time with BT Sport as well. We've got 4 minutes to go then here in the end of MotoGP's first practice session. We've got the full timers. We'll open that up at the end of the session as well, because Quartararo is pushing hard. He's 2/10 down actually in his own best time. Bagnaia has worried a lot of people in this session. As you've been with us from the start, you would realise that he's 13th and now 3 seconds off, and he's struggling to find some time. But this is always the crunch point in the session. Who's going to make the first mistake? Who's going to break the rules first and struggle as they get booting hard at the last corner? I'll stand up now with a different camera angle, because these, as you know, if you do watch MotoGP practice and have seen our highlights we show you on race day, last 4 minutes of a session are dramatic, because that's when we see some best runs. Track temperatures at 36 degrees, air temperature 21, so it's going to be round about similar to later on. So if it does rain, it's not scheduled to, but anything can happen in Valencia. Belted it down a couple of years ago, requiring a red flag. I think it was 2018, actually. Could have been, it could have been, it was 2018, maybe 19. I think it's one of the two when the red flag came out. Quartararo does a 1:31.399. Marquez looking quite quick. Bagnaia doesn't improve. Jack Miller goes into third position, stays there as well. Jorge Martin goes fifth, so improves. Here comes Marquez then. Did top the session for a number of time. Still only second. 2/10 down on his own best time. He was only 35 thousandths of a second off Quartararo, and now he's 3/10 off. So everyone, look at that, Quartararo, medium front, medium rear, soft front for Marquez, medium rear for him. So we're seeing a split out there at the moment. In fact, if we take a look at the battle cam quickly, look at the tyres. Front medium, rear medium for everybody, or rear medium for everybody, but those on the medium fronts, Quartararo, Zarco, Martin, Aleix Espargaro, Marini, Fernandez, Vinales, Alex Marquez, Brad Binder, all on medium front tyres. As Remy Gardner goes up into 14th position as well, so they might just find something with 1:48 minutes left on the clock. 1 minute 43 seconds, I should say. If I get my words out. Lap time cancelled for Maverick Vinales due to exceeding track limits, just flashed up on the monitor as well, as you can see at the bottom of the timing screen. Bagnaia out of the last corner then to turn 14. Gives it to Welly on that Ducati using the drag system. Crutchlow's just behind it. Behind Bagnaia is Jorge Martin. Bagnaia still 16th. 1:32, 1:37. As it stands, he has to go through qualifying number 1. Hello to Rizuma. I apologise if I've pronounced your name wrong there, my friend. Hello. Hopefully you're enjoying the session. Marquez still P2, 2/10 off the pace. Marini, last flying lap, goes in 9th position, runs it wide at turn 1. So Marini's best effort will be 9th. I think Marquez wants to try and push again. Marquez already had a crash here. He's gone wide at turn 2. The same part of the track he crashed at earlier on in the session on bike number 1. Marquez has now run it wide, so he's out of it. Bagnaia, this is a push lap. He's only a 10th off in the first sector, 3/10 off in the second sector. So Bagnaia's really starting to struggle. That Ducati has not clicked with this circuit. And interestingly enough, if this was the race on Sunday, Quartararo first, Bagnaia 16th. At this stage, if this was a Grand Prix, the world champion would be Fabio Quartararo. Let that sink in. That's how dramatic this is getting us. Another lap time cancelled for Maverick Vinales then due to exceeding track limits. Checkered flag is out. Rins goes up into 4th position. Alicia Spargo is 8th. Franco Morbidelli 9th. Paolo Spargo 19th. Takiki Nakagami back on the bike as well after being declared medically fit after his accident a couple of races ago in Aragon. He goes 21st. Quartararo goes top. Bagnaia stays 16th. Exactly 6/10 off the pace of Quartararo. 1:31.999. And this is a big, big worry now for the world champion-elect of Bagnaia. If this was the Grand Prix, Quartararo would have just become world champion. That's how crucial this is. He knows it, we know it. And, wow, that's what I mean. It just tightens everything up. But, hello, Red Bull, KTM here, Brad Binder. He's looking fantastic. First, second sector has gone red, which is good if you're coming from Formula 1. Red is good in MotoGP. Orange is bad. Grey is sort of okay. I'll go grey. And Binder's 13 thousandths of a second down. So the top 10 rounds out with Luca Marini. Brad Binder is 18th at the moment. Can Binder find a surprise through? Yes, third! 1:31.470 for Brad Binder. The top 3 separated by 0.072. Top 4 even. Wow. Wow. There's Quartararo. Champion if he wins the race and Bagnaia is 15th or worse. He's won first practice and Bagnaia ended 17th. Major bad session then for Ducati. They've got to improve unless Bagnaia has to go through qualifying 1. Is this hard work in the second half of the season about to fade away for Pepe Bagnaia? And can Fabio Quartararo change his luck? 2 point scoring finishes in the past 6 races. Retired in 3 of them. It's not good at all. Just to keep on with the pressure. And this is a difference with live as well. Which is why live is always better. Live is always better. That's why next year we're bringing you qualifying live, the sprint races live, races all live as well. Practice would admittedly still be in highlights, but it's better than nothing because we just simply don't have the time some days to get them all done because usually a session interrupts with Formula 1 or something. What a time. What a session. Final words then from BT Sport before the ad break, then we'll wrap up the times.
And we've been talking about 7 or 8 in the top 10, haven't we, at stages this year. Again,
I think that will change that.
it will change over the weekend, but just gives us something to get our teeth into, doesn't it, for the rest of the weekend. Pecco Bagnaia, to me, it feels like every time the camera's been on him, it's almost like he's trying to avoid looking at it, looking down, you know, like he's trying to avoid your eye contact or anything all weekend. His camera on. No, I'm not.
He started the weekend in Sepang saying, I don't feel the pressure, I feel fine. And then when he crashed in after FP3, he was like, well, actually, I am feeling it, and I've got to be honest. So, you know, saying there's no pressure, it's a massive pressure on his shoulders. Ducati's not won the title since 2007. He's Italian, he's in red. Everybody's expecting to win. It's for him to lose, basically, with 23 points of advantage on this man, Fabio Quartararo. So it will be a huge, huge pressure on Pecco's shoulders.
Yeah, an Italian.
Absolutely, it will. Okay, then, let's take a look then at how they stand coming into the exit of free practice 1. Here's your complete results now. Fabio Quartararo tops the session on a 1:31.399. Then, further down, Marc Marquez goes second. on a 131.434. Brad Binder, third, 131.470. Jack Miller is fourth, 131.542. Alex Rins, fifth, 131.564. Johan Zarco is sixth on a 131.684. Jorge Martin is seventh on a 131.762. Miguel Oliveira 8th, 131.775. Aleix Espargaro 9th, 131.782. Johan Mir 10th, that's the cut-off time, a 131.809. Luca Marini is 11th, 131.874. Raul Fernandez 12th, 131.881. Franco Morbidelli 13th, 131.915. Enea Bashini 14th, 131.917. Remy Garner 15th, 131.977. And then Maverick Vinales is 16th, 131.993. Pepe Bagnaia 17th, 131.999. And then Alex Marquez 18th, 132.068. Paul Espargaro 19th, 132.116. Marco Bezzecchi is 20th, 132.159. Carl Crutchlow is 21st on a 132.274. Fabio Di Antonio 22nd, 132.604. Takiki Nakagami back after injuries, 23rd on a 132.982. And Darren Binder 24th on a 133.969. Well, an interesting first session then here in Valencia. That is wrapped up practice 1. Practice 2 is coming up at 1 o'clock UK time as well. You can find that already live set up on the YouTube channel. My thanks to everyone for joining us today for the first practice. Practice 2 coming up later on. But if this was the Grand Prix, Quartararo would have been champion. Bagnaia down in 17th position. Quartararo topping the session. Practice 2's got to go better for the Ducatis. We'll see you later after lunch. Bye for now.